Justin, welcome to the show.
Hi, good to see you.
Yeah, excited to have you on. Tell us who you are, what you do.
Yeah, I'm Justin Hall. I'm the co-founder and managing partner of Voxus PR. We're a B2B tech PR, social media, and content agency.
Say that 5 times real fast.
Yeah, right. PR social content agency just south of Seattle. And we work entirely with B2B tech companies. So, yeah.
Are you guys an accidental agency owner? How'd you guys get started?
Yeah, no, not necessarily accidental. So I worked for a larger agency and a couple of the folks there wanted to spin out, thought they had a better way of doing the agency. And so we spun out and started our own agency and have been doing it almost 20 years. So not accidental at all.
What made you guys leave the old agency?
We just thought that maybe we had a little bit better way of doing it, and that other agency was growing and getting bigger, and we were a satellite office and we were kind of doing our own thing. And we just thought that we could, do it a little bit more effectively, and we're driving our own new business. And the other agency owner was extremely supportive of us spinning out. She let us, take some clients with us to help us get started. So she was fantastic through the process. Like we wouldn't have been successful without that kind of support. I think she knew that the other person that spun out was going to do this kind of anyway. And so she was supportive, which was awesome. You don't hear stories very often like that.
No, I've never heard the agency you're leaving going, yeah, take some of these clients to seed you.
Yeah. No, I think, my partner had done a lot of great work for that agency and had helped them grow. And yeah, all I can say is that we wouldn't be here today without kind of that support, which we always acknowledged was very unique. So
honestly, I've never heard of.
Well, there you go. Now you have, right? So
I told someone a couple of weeks, I was chatting with an agency owner. I was like, look, I've been in this industry for a quarter century and I've heard it all. And then I stepped back and I said, there was one thing I haven't heard. And it was my business partner's leaving to go join a cult. And then he goes, actually, mine did too. And I'm like, what the heck? What's the chances?
Wow. Yeah. What are the chances? There are good people out there that want others to succeed. And I think
none of your partners left to go join a cult.
No, not yet. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. What cult would I join, right?
This cult thing might work out for me.
Exactly.
Walk me through how the first couple of years were. Obviously you had a couple clients that you could see that, but how did you start scaling?
Yeah, scaling is really difficult, right? You have all these responsibilities for the client work that you're doing, and then on the new business side as well. We were fortunate that we had some really good relationships for referral business. So we were able to capitalize on people moving around. In tech space, people move around all the time, right? So if you're doing great work for a company, the goal is to keep that business. And then when someone jumps over to another client, you're able to layer them on and do that, and we were working hard on the new business front as well. So, but then also scaling with staff and team members, it's really hard. It's really hard to get somebody to join a small agency that's trying to grow, and getting somebody that can be a jack of all trades, because you do a lot, right? You have to project manage well. You have to write, be a good writer. You have to be good at pitching media. You have to be good at communicating. So it's really hard to find great people that can kind of do all of those things to help you grow. So, I think we were really fortunate as well when we spun out. The tech market was booming. We'd had a lot of experience doing startup work. So we were working with startups, and we were well embedded in the community in the Northwest. So there was a lot of companies that were starting. So, and I think doing great work, right? We made sure that we went above and beyond our remit just to exceed expectations on every single thing we did, which is super important when you're trying to grow. You have to preserve your reputation.
You mentioned you were looking for workers that were kind of the jack of all trades. So were you looking for the people that could come in and make an immediate difference, or the people that had the capability to make a difference and then train them up?
Yeah, I think it was both. Initially, we were probably looking for one or two key people that could make an impact immediately, that we could transfer business over to so that we could focus on growing the business. But that quickly snowballs into, okay, they need support, and we need to find really great people that are either coming out of college or that might have 1 or 2 years of experience. And then we want to train them up and invest in them in how we like to do things. And yeah, so I mean, that's something still today that we try to do heavily is get people that are out of college or have only have a couple of years of experience and train them up and invest in them. Because I remember when I came out of college, I got a journalism degree, had a minor in PR, and came into the space. I really loved tech. I didn't know what I was doing. And thankfully, I had some really great mentors that did invest that extra time, whether it was they would stay late to do, editing on my work or to have conversations with me. And so we try to do that moving forward to make sure that we're making them the best that they can be. And we're more formal about it as well. We have better tools. We've documented our processes. So there's almost like learning centers that they can tap into to help them progress in their career.
What's a big mistake that you've made thinking back around, hiring?
Oh, I think the biggest mistake is not moving fast enough. You need to fail fast when you're a smaller agency. And sometimes you hire team members that you think are going to be really great, and they just can't put it all together. And sometimes that's on them, and sometimes that's on us, right? We're too busy and we don't invest. So when you're small, you need to fail fast. And that's not only with team members, that is with clients. I've heard you talk before, like not every client is a good client. Like you have to say no sometimes. And so I think that's the same with employees. You need to find out really quickly whether or not they're the piece that you need in your puzzle. So
how do you know if they are the right employee? Like, especially when you hire them. We were talking in the mastermind not too long ago, and I told everybody, I said, look, if you literally think of all your bad employees that you've ever had, you probably honestly knew within the first month. But we think we can always turn it around, and we try to hold on to them for a long time.
Yeah. No, I think you're 100% right. I think it's human nature to want to try to fix the problem and invest. You've spent all this time to get somebody into a role, and you might have that inkling that, oh, this isn't going to work out. But ego sometimes gets in the way where you think I can make this person into what I need them to be. And there are just so many elements that go into, but one of the biggest ones is effort. How much effort are they putting in? Are they trying? I'm willing to work a lot longer with somebody to try to turn it around if I feel like they're 100% invested in trying to learn and get better. So that goes a long way. But at the end of the day, there comes a certain time horizon that if you're not able to do all of these different functions and do them in a time effective manner, then it's probably not a fit. And, you're going to be great at something else. It just isn't working out with this.
One of the most stressful things about running an agency is proposal. It feels like controlled chaos, right? You rush to get them out the door with complete accuracy, just hoping you don't miss something crucial. One wrong move could lead to costly mistakes or possibly not landing the deal at all. That's why I'm excited about Smart Pricing Table. It's an award-winning proposal software built just for marketing agencies. Now, it's designed to handle your unique challenges and cut down the time you spend on proposal as much as 90%. With Smart Pricing Table, you're going to turn your crazy process into a smooth, predictable system that works for you, not against you. Oh, and by the way, the creator is a former agency owner and a past mastermind member, so Smart Pricing Table is built with the right strategies behind it. Say goodbye to the proposal stress and hello to confidence. Go to smartpricingtable.com/smartagency to see if this is the missing piece your agency is looking for. Plus, just for the listeners, schedule a demo and get half off for the first 2 months. Check out smartpricingtable.com/smartagency.
Do you try to hire people that you have to manage or you manage them?
I mean, I want to have people that manage up, that are great at their job and don't need to be micromanaged, that take initiative, and that I'm not having to do, dive saves and go in and try to fix things. So the hard part is identifying that. It's harder to identify that with more junior staff. I think when you have senior folks, they have a resume and you can dive into more examples and situations with them through that. But for junior staffs, a lot of it is like, are they hungry? Do they seem like they're interested in the topic? We have folks take a writing test. Writing is really important in what we do. So we make sure that they're a good writer and that they can take complex information and turn that into something useful. And then we ask them lots of questions about how they manage their time, how they handle stress, how they handle priorities, different things like that. So, but even in doing all of that, you can still have misses. And so a lot of it can be a crapshoot on the junior level, which is difficult sometimes.
Do you guys have a go-to interview question that knocks people out?
Gosh, that's a really good question. I don't think that I have like a go-to question. It's just a very multi-layered process of going through and then circling back to certain questions. For me, they really, really have to have an understanding of how they balance their workday and their priorities. Because in any agency, you're working on multiple accounts, and on each of those accounts, you have multiple tasks and how do you balance those? And then how do you communicate? You have to be a really good communicator. At the end of the day, this is business. We're trying to have fun. You should have transparency with your teams. You should be able to ask questions. You should be able to ask for help. A huge red flag for me is when people aren't asking questions, because I know when I started, I asked so many questions. I probably annoyed the heck out of my team leads because I was asking questions, but I think that's really key. So,
and when you hire people, are you hiring them as a contractor first and then full-time, or just straight into full-time?
Just straight into full-time.
Cool. Well, this has been amazing. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you think would benefit the listeners listening in?
I mean, we kind of talked a lot about hiring. I mean, one of the areas that I also think is interesting is just kind of the unique challenges around the B2B market. As an agency owner, B2B is very different than B2C or some of the other verticals out there. And so when you are hiring or running a B2B agency, you just have to make sure that you have a passion for the space, which I know that is applicable for any space, but it does come with, some other unique challenges.
Yeah. I mean, I always tell people, you have to enjoy it. And I think a mistake some people make a lot of times is they think they need to follow their passion. But especially when you start scaling your agency and they're like, well, I find the automotive industry boring, or, the technology space boring. I'm like, well, are you still working with clients? And if they go, yes, I'm like, do you want to scale? I was like, you shouldn't be working with clients, but you should you have to kind of move up a level. I find that holds back a lot of people going, I'm going to pick a niche based on something that I love doing. But what I learned over the years is it's the who you need to become, and you need to become that leader. Or if you can't, put the leader in the place, and then you can keep doing what you love doing and that kind of stuff. But that's always, it's always interesting when I hear that.
Yeah. I have a question back for you. If you were giving advice to a growing agency, what are three things that you tell people to focus on as a lead?
Where, who, and who. Where do you want to go? And why do you want to get there? And that gives the power to your team in order to make decisions without you. We've all been in a place where the team and all the leadership team always comes to you for every decision, and it's frustrating. And then they can't be proactive. They're just reacting and they're waiting for you. So you need to know where. The next is, you should never focus on the how. How can I scale my agency? How can I do this? It's more about who can actually help you with this. And then the last is, who do you need to become? When I sold the first agency, I sold it at a time where I thought I was holding the agency back, and I was. I just didn't level up. And so it's the where, who, and who.
How did you come to the realization that you were holding the agency back?
I was just at a cap. Like, we had a substantial growth over the years. Like, when I got that focus of where we're going and I put the right people in the place. But I think psychologically too, I was like sabotaging certain things because I felt uncomfortable with selling the amount of business that we were. And then I was frustrated with my business partner. I always joke, like, you got a bunch of partners. I'm like, you either know the bad partner or you're the bad partner. Kidding with you, but not really. The business really outgrew him. I was ahead of him, but I felt like I was getting to that level as well. But then when I look back, after like 760 episodes and, coaching thousands of agencies and growing the other agency, I'm like, oh, wow. No, like, I should have never sold. I could have got it this much bigger.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the question, the challenge, right?
Yeah.
Is it the right time?
Yeah. And then, I always tell people, like we were talking in the pre-show, how I like talk a lot of people out from selling their agency, especially if it's so good. But I think you should only sell the agency if you get to a point where you know exactly what you want to do next. You need the money for medical expenses or something like that, or you're just totally burned out from it. Then sell. But if you're just trying to just sell just to put the check mark box and you don't have a clue of what you're doing next, I was like, don't sell.
Yeah, no, I think back and look back and I'm like, man, I should have scaled the agency, 10 years ago, sold it, done it again, done it several times, right? It's like,
it doesn't matter. It's just a number. If you've enjoyed doing it, keep doing it. And just for the people thinking of like, hey, I'm going to sell in 10 years or 7 years or whatever, and then you're putting a time frame on it, I think that's a mistake. I think because you don't know where anything's going to be in that. Like, it may be a bad market for you to sell. Like, It's kind of like a stock. It's like, sell it when you need to sell it.
Yeah.
Well, Justin, thanks so much for coming on the show, and for everyone listening. If you guys enjoyed this episode and you want to hang out with us and hang out with other amazing agency owners on a consistent basis, check out the Mastery, check out the Mastermind. If you go to agencymastery.io, click the blueprint or click the scale on the top right, and let's have a conversation and see if we can help your agency out. And we'll tell you about the Mastermind. And until then, have a swank day.